I love the way this thing looks with that front mount just hiding down there in the bumper. It looks so good. What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today is another continuation of working on the BRZ. Now, I have had some hiccups, and some of you guys commented on the last video about some of your guys' experience with MA Performance in the past also. I just want to make a couple things clear. Like I said, the craftsmanship of the kit I love, but the fact that they didn't send me everything is extremely annoying. It was very difficult to source some of the parts that I needed to be able to finish what I need to do on the BRZ, so I will link everything down below if you guys do order this kit as well and you are going through the same thing I am, where you just don't get everything with the kit and they blatantly tell you that you're not going to get certain things. So I do want to touch on a couple of these things before we get to installing some more parts on the car. The turbo to downpipe gasket was one thing that I'm like extremely irritated about with MA Performance. I was emailing them consistently and weekly because this kit was taking so long and I was told so many different lead times. They asked me to send them some pictures of what came in the kit, so I did. I told them I was missing the gasket, and I was told that the turbo to downpipe gasket is in one of these vibrant bags. Both of these bags have the exact same gasket, where it's just a 2-bolt flange. The reflection is killing it. It's just this 2-bolt flange, two of them. Like, there's that one on the ground, there's the other one. Both of the same flanges. After I sent that picture, I was then told that the kit doesn't come with the turbo to downpipe gasket. So I'm a little bit irritated with that. Like I said, I'll link below everything that I've had to source and find, so that way if you guys are doing this kit also, you at least have the resources to be able to get everything you need. But that's enough talking. Let's get into this kit. Let's talk about what we're doing today, and then let's start installing some parts. So just to clarify, there have been a couple other issues with MAP and trying to get some of the parts that are included with the kit, but I finally emailed them enough times to get them to send them out. So waiting on the rest of those to show up. But the game plan for today, I need to pull the intake manifold. We are deleting the evap system on this car because the boost controller that I got from Delicious Tuning taps into the evap wiring harness underneath the intake manifold, and there's just not a lot of room to be able to get my hands down there. And I'm also hoping that after I delete the evap system off the manifold, I don't have to use this top fitting, and I can just plug that and pull vacuum from the intake manifold on the bottom side to be able to come over here to our blow-off valve. So intake manifold is going to be coming off the car today, and we are also going to be putting on our FIC injectors. I forgot what size these are. I don't remember. I actually have no idea what size these are. We're going to be putting in our injectors also. I think they're 660 cc. The way that these FA20s work is they're both port and direct injection. So the port injection really just helps down low in the RPM range and with cold start, so it is beneficial to have it because it does clean the backside of the valves also. So intake manifold is going to be coming off. Fuel rails, we're going to be getting access to those. I'm going to move all these fuel lines out of our way. Evap solenoids are getting deleted as well. Like I said, I don't have emissions up here in Washington State, so I'm not too concerned with deleting evap and that kind of stuff. The tuner can just delete all the codes. We did remove the AC compressor yesterday when we were playing around with this because one of the hoses that we need for the PCV port to be able to go up to the catch can is underneath of this, so it just made more sense to remove it for now so that way we can run the hoses. So let me get this intake manifold pulled off. Super easy, just like the STI. I do need to get these shields and brackets out of the way, disconnect those fuel lines, do the same thing on this side, move our ECU, and then we can get access to get this intake manifold up and off. Well, as you guys can tell, the engine bay looks a lot different. Intake manifold is a little bit annoying to remove on this just because the wiring harness is like all up in the way. But we do have it off, and I wanted to show you guys this too because this is a little interesting. So these are stock BRZ injectors. These are the new injectors going in. Look at the size difference compared to those. Like the port opening on the bottom side is definitely bigger on these FICs than these OEM ones, but the neck on the OEM ones, it's just weird to me. I don't know why. Just looks a little odd. So intake manifold is off. The way MA Performance wants you to route the blow-off valve vacuum line is from this top PVC port right here. I'm gonna plug that, and I'm going to go off of the bottom side right here since we're deleting evap, because that's our evap solenoid right there. So we're deleting that entirely. All these evap hoses will be gone. The evap sensor will be gone, and our blow-off, or our iPad, oh my God. Our boost controller will mount up right there, and then we'll use that as reference for the blow-off valve, so that way we don't have to try to go from a giant reducer up top over to the tiny blow-off valve port, which I don't know where I put the intake right here. So that way we're not trying to go to that tiny port right there. So All right, we're pausing for a minute because I want to show you guys this. First of all, I'm just running the vacuum line right now that goes to the catch cans in the back while we have the manifold off. But this is really cool. I haven't seen this before. So these are your direct injection system right up here. So this is the hard line that goes to the direct injectors, and it just goes straight into the block. Super cool. I haven't seen it before. High pressure fuel pump just sits over here, and then you have a hard line that goes to each side, but neat stuff. So actually, let's get this manifold on. Let's keep going. I got distracted. Our fuel injectors are now in. They're not yet plugged in. All of the plugs are still there. We need to cut all of those off to put on the new injector harnesses. This is not a plug and play kit like most of you have used in the past. So all we got to do here is go ahead and cut that off. Red to red, black. Ooh, wait a minute. That's red and white. Which one of these is power and ground? That is a good question right there. That's exciting. I need to look at a wiring diagram to figure out which one of these is power and ground on this old harness, just because we need to go ahead and splice on this new injector harness, because on here it's not typical just red, black, black, red, red, white. This one's like red and white. This one is like red, white, and blue-ish. So I'm gonna find a wiring diagram just so I know what side of this connector I'm plugging it to, just so that way we're not having any fueling issues. So let me hop online, do that. We're gonna go in here, we're gonna just cut off all of the old pigtails, solder on the new ones, plug them all in, and then we'll test fuel pressure to make sure that none of our injectors are leaking. But if you've never installed injectors on this car, super simple. There's two 12mm bolts right down there, same as on the STI. Fuel rail just pops off, old injectors come out, put the new ones in, and you are on your way. Something to keep in mind with installing injectors though is make sure you're putting some type of lubricant on the O-rings on here, just so you're not completely obliterating the O-rings, and make sure you're pulling the old injector seats out of the TGVs or the intake manifold. So let me find a wiring diagram for the stock injectors just so I know what wire goes to what, and then we can start cutting and splicing the new harnesses on. Okay, so we are going to test which one of these wires is the power and ground, because if you go to all the injector plugs, some of them are red, some of them are black, some of them are white. So just to verify that we're splicing into the correct one, we went out and bought a multimeter. Now I'm gonna be honest, we did not know how to use this. So we did a quick YouTube's, learning as everyone else does. So Matt's gonna hold the injector plug for us. We're gonna turn the voltmeter to 12 volts. We will ground the ground side onto like a stud, and then come in here. Which one was the red wire? That one. On the voltmeter, you can see that we're getting power to the red injector wire, I guess. On the black one, if you do the same thing, it stays at 0. You go back to the red, we get power. So we know that that is just loud. I'm gonna turn that off. So we know that the red wires going all the way around our injector plugs are going to be the power. And then the opposing color is just going to be the signal or the ground. So all I'm gonna do is cut off the old pigtails, splice on the new connectors. Splice on these new connectors here. We'll get our injectors plugged in. We'll get our catch cans mounted up here. And then we can continue with this install. We can continue with the install, man. Good progress has been made here. As you guys saw, the injectors have been, well, the injector wiring harness has been soldered with the new pigtails. The covers are back on. You don't have to put them back on. I just left them back on just because I felt like it looked a little bit better. Matt and I did a pressure test on the system, so pretty much all we did was turn on the car with the injectors and the fuel pump fuse back in, just so the injectors got a little bit of pressure. Once they saw pressure, we just checked to make sure that there's no leaks, no fuels leaking out of the injector, so we're pretty much good to go on that. Next, I want to get that catch can put on. So we have one of the breather ports off of the head, off of the block coming right here, and then the other one is that PCV valve, which is behind the intake manifold on the top of the block. So that is where this hose is coming from, right here, and then this hose right here here will go to the other catch can. So we've got left catch can, right catch can, and then it'll bolt up right up here. After we get that done, I want to get some of the boost or the vacuum hose done for the boost controller. One of the ones I am waiting on a reducer for is this guy right here. So I'm gonna get these catch cans thrown up here, get those knocked out and done with, so that way we can keep going. Then we'll do the boost gate or the boost controller vacuum lines, get them down to the external wastegate, get them to where they need to go. We'll have that done. Then we're pretty much just waiting on parts to come in, and hopefully they come in soon. Well, it doesn't look like much has changed on the engine today. I'm about to wrap up for the night just because there's nothing else I can do until I get the gaskets, hardware, and fittings that I'm missing. So what we did today is we got the vacuum line ran, so it's going down from the external wastegate over, down across the frame over there, and then I moved our boost controller up here just because it fit a little bit better. And then the compressor for the turbo also follows that as well. I'm gonna order a VTA fitting for this boost controller just because we don't have an inlet for this last fitting to go back to the intake. We're just not gonna use it, so we're just gonna vent that to the atmosphere. So vacuum lines are pretty much ran for the turbo setup. Remember, we did pull the intake manifold. We got rid of the evap solenoid. The hose that we're gonna be tapping into for our blow-off valve is just tucked away right there for right now. I need a fitting to be able to go from that over to the blow-off valve on the intake pipe that I have just kind of set over here right now. And then lastly, we got the injectors done today. So it was fun learning how to use the multimeter, getting the injectors put in there. So we've got 660cc injectors. I need to figure out this catch can setup. I would really like to use this catch can. Oh my God, get off, get off. I would really like to use this catch can just because it vents everything to the atmosphere instead of putting anything back into the system at all. But the problem that I'm having with this catch can setup is it is so poorly designed. I don't know why these come off at an angle on both of them. It's honestly the worst design I've seen, because when you go to install it, one of them comes from down here, needs to go under the manifold, up, and then connect to it, but it needs to go up directly instead of at an angle. On the PCV side over here, I just need it to come straight up, and once again, it comes at an angle. So I don't know why MA Performance designed this so poorly. The rest of the kit is designed pretty well, except for the catch can setup. I might go back to using the radium setup because that one's just designed like crap, but I'd really rather not if I can avoid it. So here we kind of stand. This is kind of where we're stopping until I get the rest of the parts in for this kit. So I guess that's where I'm ending it for tonight because there's nothing else we can do until I get the rest of the parts in. Once I get the modified core support in, we can actually get that put on the car. I 2-day shipped the gasket that we needed for the turbo to downpipe, so I should get that Thursday, which is the day after tomorrow because today is Tuesday. So tomorrow I get the oil cooler and the modified core support, so we'll get the oil cooler on, the modified core support, and then we're gonna be stuck waiting again until I get the rest of these fittings in and gaskets that I need to go any further. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. This is the not so sexy side of installing a turbo setup, is doing all of these smaller tedious things like running vacuum line, installing injectors, soldering harnesses and whatnot. But it is still important to show you guys all of this because it is still needed when you do this type of setup. But if you guys like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead, hit that like button and turn it blue like the backside of the inside of some of the panels on the Subaru. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit your boy up one of these corners. I don't quite know which one I'm going to put it in quite yet, but one of them. Go ahead, hit that button. Also, before I actually get to the end of this video, I have an update on the EG33 that I'd like to share with you guys. I dropped off our cams at Delta Cams, already paid for those. So they're going to weld on material and grind down our cams too. So they're going to essentially be 264s. So once they're done with those cams, they're just gonna send them down to Outfront Motorsports. I've already paid Outfront Motorsports half of the engine build cost. I'll pay the other half when it's done, but super stoked for it. So we are getting things going on the EG33 build, but I am loving doing this BRZ stuff in the meantime. I just wish that things would go a little bit smoother and a little bit more of this kit was a little more thought out than it is. But like I said, if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, like right up there somewhere, I don't quite know yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies.